Alright guys, so welcome to today's video, and in today's video we will create our first attack for our Gear 5 model right here, which we have made in the past videos, okay? So like 1 week or 2 weeks ago. And let me quickly blend in the image of the attack we are going to create. So we have already had some attacks in the last manga chapters, but in my opinion most of these were somehow related to former attacks such as Gear 3 or Gatling or whatsoever. But now we have gotten an attack which is a little bit different, because Luffy right here, he holds some lightning bolts, and he's going to attack or stab Kaido with it. And this is going to be the idea for our attack for today. So we are right here in Blender, we are going to create some clouds, and then we are going to create a lightning bolt, and then we're going to export everything to ROBLOX, and then we are going to continue with just scripting the whole thing, and that's the plan for the next 10 minutes, for the next 20 minutes whatsoever minutes, guys. So for today's video. All right, with that being said, let's begin with creating this whole thing. So I have enabled this plugin right here so you can follow my mouse inputs. Now let me start with the cloud, actually. So the cloud is pretty easy. So just import these, just insert these spheres. Join them together, shade smooth. Add this add split modifier if you want to, but also, well, I don't know. Join them together, then add split. There we go. So this is our cloud here, right here. So that was a cloud creation speed run. Now let's do the same for our lightning bolt. So wait, never mind this, because this does not even make sense. Alright, so here we go. So this is our bolt. Now, let's export everything. So you do that by deleting one thing so that only the thing you want to export is there. Then you go to File, Export and OBJ, and then you export it. And after you have exported it, hit Ctrl and Z to undo everything, and then you just repeat the step for the other object. Now I'm gonna pause the video at that point, and then I'm gonna export everything, and then we are going to see each other back in the Roblox studio, where we are going to set up the Gear 5 model, which we have created in the last Gear 5 video, and then we are going to create all of the things regarding the attack. Okay. So with that being said, we'll see each other. Okay, so back in Roblox Studio, right-click on the workspace, insert two mesh parts. So duplicate this mesh part right here. Let's call the first one bolt, because that's exactly what this thing is going to be about. The second one is going to be our cloud. So go to that folder icon and then import the bolt. Here we go, that's our bolt. Now, give it a size. Give it a color, give it a certain material, you know. So do all of these things. So there we go. Now, regarding the cloud. So there we go. There we go. All right, make sure that the cloud is anchored, but can't collide as faults. Move to cloud instead of the replicated storage. Get rid of these sand attacks right here. Now let me put the bolt instead of the replicated storage as well. Make sure that the bolt is not anchored and that can't collide as faults for the bolt. Now, let's import our Gear 5 model right here. Let's set it up. So, a lot of you have been complaining about the Gear 5 model, the last video. By the way, the last video has gained massive amount of support. Thank you for that. So, a lot of you have been complaining about the hair color and overall just the clothing as well. Well, I cannot really change the clothing color because the clothing is not mine, okay? But if we would have done the clothing in 3D, so in Blender, then we could have been able to change the color then, but apparently we're not able to because we haven't done that yet. So the only thing which we can change in regard to the color is the hair color. So let me make that white. So some of you have been arguing that it is white, others have said that it is yellow, but the majority has said white, therefore I'm gonna stick to white, okay? So let's move Gear 5 inside of replicated storage. Now let's test this thing out quickly. So there we go. All right. So let's try to create this attack. Now, go inside of this local script, and then let's refer to this user input service. So what this user input service does is that it basically detects any user input. So user input could be when you press a key, when you press a mouse button, whatsoever. So those things are inputs. User inputs especially. Now we want to make use of this event called input begin, which basically detects when an input means you have pressed the key, you have pressed the mouse button, begins. So input GPE. So those two arguments right here, they are being passed when an input begins, and the first argument is the input itself. So what kind of input has been done? So was it a key or was it a mouse button? So that's everything regarding this one. GPE stands for game processed event and describes the case when a player has done the input while interacting with in-game elements. So let me give you a quick example. Let's pretend that our attack is on the Q key and we are inside of the chat. So we are currently chatting with someone and we are writing down a word which contains the letter key, the character key. And we of course have to press the Q key to write down the word, but pressing the Q key will also result in our attack. And that's basically the case that we did not really want to do the attack on purpose, so we have not really pressed the Q key on purpose to result in this attack, but to write down a word. And that's basically one example. So if you interact with any in-game elements such as GUIs whatsoever, then we want to filter that out. So if not GPE, then that means that you have not been interacting with any in-game elements, so you have done your input on purpose. And yeah. Now, if input key code enum key code Q, so let's actually use Q as the key for attack. So if this game processed event is not the case, and if our input is a key, especially the Q key, then we want to fire server this remote event right here. So script your 5 remote fire server bolt attack. So we are fire serving this remote event right here, which is going to result in a reaction of the script. So that should not be new to you, because we have already dealt with that within the previous episode of the Gear 5 series, mini-series right here. And yeah, so of course you now have a problem, because this user input service right here, it functions regardless on whether this tool right here has been equipped or not. So we somehow need to check whether this tool is equipped, and if that's the case, then we want this Q right here to be responsible for this bolt attack. So how do we do that? We have to set up this variable, this bool variable, which is false at the beginning, and which represents whether the tool right now is equipped or not, and by default it is not equipped. So if tool.equipped, then equipped true. If tool unequipped, then false. And we basically right here just have to implement this variable. So and equipped basically stands for equipped equals true. So if not GPE and the tool is equipped, then we want this Q check right here, this key Q attack check to be valid. Now, let's go inside of the server script, because this right here is going to react to this fire service. So else if what bolt attack, then there we go. Now we have to create this attack right here, and yeah, let's do that. So we first of all have to find out who our enemy is. My idea for that was to basically loop through the workspace and to check for people who are nearby, and we're going to pick out that person who's the nearest to us. So let's do that. So for IV in pairs, workspace, get descendants, do. So get descendants basically gets everything inside of this workspace. So not only this, but also everything inside of here, and everything inside of here, and everything inside of here. So, okay? So that's all regarding get descendants. Now, if the thing we're currently at is a model, and has a humanoid inside of it, or an instance called humanoid, which is most cases the humanoid, then we want to continue. So then we want to do the following. So local last enemy. So let me quickly set up this one. No. Now, what we have to do in order to check for the nearest enemy is that we have to compare each enemy to each other. And how do we do that? So we need to store... So wait, this thing right here is a loop, okay? So we are looping through the whole workspace, and we are most likely going to encounter multiple enemies. And each enemy, which has the potential to become our enemy, is first of all going to be stored inside of here. Well, let's say the first enemy is going to be stored inside of here. So the first enemy of this loop, because we do not have any material to compare the first enemy to another enemy, because this enemy right here is the first of this loop, you know? So therefore we have to do it this way. So if last enemy equals null, then so basically if there is no last enemy, means the loop is at the beginning and we are currently at our first enemy right here. Then we want to do it this way. If the humanoid root part position player character humanoid root part position. Wait, we have to swap this. So we are now going to find out the distance in between our humanoid root part, so our person, our character, and the enemy's character. So if that is not greater than 30, then we want to continue. Then we want last enemy to become V. Now, so this happens when we are at the first enemy inside of this loop. So what happens when we already have an enemy which has been stored inside of this last enemy variable, and we now have another enemy, and we want to compare our current enemy to the last enemy we have stored. So how do we do that? So we can do it by comparing each other. So we do that by if so if the distance from us to the last enemy, right, is greater than, wait, I'm gonna explain this, wait. Okay, so let me explain this. So what we're doing right here is that we are checking, or we are comparing the distances. So this distance right here is the last enemy. So the enemy which has passed this check right here. This right here is our current enemy. So if the distance of our last enemy from us is greater than from the current enemy to us, then this one right here has a far greater distance, and we have found an enemy which is near, which is more near, and we want this enemy right here to, of course, be our new last enemy. And then this whole thing just moves on till we have found the best enemy, which is the nearest to us. So that's the idea of this loop. And now we can print out the last enemy's name after this whole process is done, after the best enemy, the most suitable, has been found. It probably is the Snake Man right here. Oh my god, cool. Yeah, okay. So I forgot to add a certain, we need a third requirement, and this requirement right here is that the name of this model does not equal our player's name. So I forgot to filter out our character from this whole process. But now this Snake Man right here should be our enemy. Oh my god, oh my god. And B parent is not player character. But now it has to be Snake Man, come on. There we go. Now it is dummy. Alright. Let me quickly explain this fourth requirement. So V parent basically checks whether the model's parent is not our character. And why do we check that? Because our gear 5 is the child or an object of our character. So with this requirement, we are basically excluding the case that we are currently at our gear 5 model, you know. So we are excluding the player right here, and we are excluding the gear 5 model right here. Now we have now found our enemy. So what do we do next? We of course now have to do everything regarding this attack. So for example, we have to we have to create a body mover, so a body position in this case. And this body position right here has to be inside of our humanoid root part. And this body position right here is going to make us move up to the sky, so above our enemy. And then we're going to charge up this attack. Then we're going to fly towards our enemy. So that's my idea. Now regarding the position, wait. Let me see if this works. There we go. There we go. Now, so that was exactly what I wanted to do. So we now have to change the animation, first of all. So for IV in pairs, layer, come on, layer, character, humanoid, animator, get playing animation tracks. Do if the name equals idle, then we stop. There we go. And now we have to play a new animation. We'll deal with that later. Why is it not stopping the animation? Why is it not stopping the animation? Because we have referred to the wrong animator. Player character, gear 5 animator. There we go. Now it has stopped. Now it has stopped. Local bolt. Game. So let me quickly explain this animation part if you guys want to. So wait, bolt. Clone. Bolt parent. Play. My god. Player character, We have to weld this bolt. There we go. Yo. God, why is it always suggesting this plugin? This plugin. Come on. Oh my God. No one uses that. Like, nobody uses plugin. So what we are doing right here is that we are looping through the animator of our Gear 5. We are getting all of the current playing animations of the all of the animations which are currently playing, all right? And we are checking if one of those is idle. If that's the case, then we are just stopping the animation, so there's nothing more into it. Right here, we are creating this body position with certain properties right here, and the position of this body position right here is pretty important because this one uses the enemy's position as the base, then putting our character above and at the back. And yeah, so basically those are C frames, and we have to convert this into vector 3. And we do that by adding the start position to it. And right here, we are just referring to the bolt. We are cloning it, and then we are parenting it instead of the character, means we are just putting it inside of it. And right here, we are creating a new weld, which is responsible to weld the bolt onto our right hand. So as you see, part 0 is the part you're welding something onto. In this case, we are attaching the bolt onto our hand. So right hand is our part 1, and part 0 and part 1 is the part we are attaching something onto, in this case our bolt. So let's play this, let's see how it is going to work out. What happens right here? Why? Wait. Why is it like that? Oh, I know why. I know why. So instead of welding it to our character's right hand, let's weld it to our Gear 5's right hand. There we go. There we go. C frame new. Let me quickly publish this because my recording program tends to freeze my whole PC, and then you're just losing progress, you know. Yo, I have to experiment around a little, so I'm sorry for that. But I think that we are pretty close to find the perfect position. Let's use this one. Okay, there we go. There we go. Now, so next thing which we have to do is that we have to create an animation. So let's quickly do that. So So let's create some kind of island animation. So loop this whole thing. Make sure that the priority is set to action. Okay, let me export this. So publish to ROBLOX. So of course, you're not able to use the animation ID, which I'm going to use now, because an animation is only limited to one user, you know. So what I could do is that I could give you a dummy in which all of the animations are saved. So write down if you want me to do that. So write this down as a comment, guys, so that I know that you want this. There we go. All right. So local loader. Then refer to this animator of our gear 5. Load animation. Then refer to our gear 5 character model. Bolt attack idle. And then play this loader. Here we go. I can still rotate, huh? Okay. So also have to add a body gyro. Alright then. Wait. So BG instance the new body gyro. Let's edit, guys. This body gyro right here, it is going to make us unable to rotate. Okay, so it fixes us into one certain direction. So I barely use body movers, you know. So torque vector 3 new math huge huge bg b. Now the problem is with this C frame because, well, I don't really know how to examine the C frame or last enemy. So can we use our enemy C frame? Probably not. Probably. Yo, we can. Can use our enemy C frame. That's good. That's great. That's great. That's great, guys. That's great. Now, let's add those clouds. So local cloud. Not instance the new, but let's refer to this one. So cloud clone, cloud parent, workspace, and the cloud is anchored anyway. So cloud C-frame player. Oh my God, plug in again. Plug in again. So our character C-frame multiplied with, of course, a little bit more above. So like this. Let's actually do it this way. So let's have multiple clouds. And let's make it that those clouds right here, that they are transparent in the beginning. Now we are going to have a tween, which makes those clouds visible. So tween service 8 cloud tween info new 1 enum using style linear enum in direction out. That's it. Transparency 0. So what this tween service does, so I have already explained it in many of my videos, go ahead and check them out. I'm not going to explain the tween service right here again. What you guys need to know is that we are basically creating a transition from our first state, which is a transparent cloud, to our goal state, which is our visible cloud. So we are creating a transition between those. Those are the settings for the transition. So transition is going to take 1 second. It is going to be for the cloud. That's all you gotta know. Okay, so if you want a detailed explanation, then go ahead and check out someone else's tutorial about tween service in particular, or you can just watch some of my videos, and if you're lucky, then you'll encounter a detailed explanation of this tween service. So let's play. Let's see how this is going to look like. Maybe we should use do it this way. Maybe we should also play around with the rotation. Math random. Not math random, but math rat. Math random. We go from 0 to 80. 0. Basically a random rotation, which we are generating right here. All right. Now we could create another body position. So EP2. And this one is going to go to our enemy's position. So destroy. Wait. We cannot do it that way. So, so this is a lot about thinking, because I'm still thinking about stuff which we could potentially add. So let me add some kind of sphere. Port space. So anchor true. And collide faults. Brick color new. New yellow. Material. Neon. Transparency is at 0, of course. Size. Vector free new. Let's pick free. And C-frame. It's going to be last enemy. It's root part C-frame. Now we are going to add this tween to it. We are going to make this thing transparent. And we are going to double the size. So size, X size multiplied with 10. And we are going to make everything happen within 2 seconds. So let's see what happens. We also got to change the shape to a ball. We should disable cast shadow. We should also disable cast shadow for the clouds. Wait, why am I unable to move? Why am I unable to move? Why am I unable to move, guys? Guys, do something about it. Why am I unable to move? Wait. Guys, why is this happening? Wait, why? Why am I unable to move? There is no reason for that to happen. So, this should not happen. Why is it still happening? So nothing is anchored. There is no on the object inside of it, which blocks us or anything. So there is like no reason for this to happen. There is no reason. There is no reason. Wait. So now I'm to index no with much would. Wait. It probably has to do with this one. But why? So what is exactly happening? So okay, so after this. So after this right here, you're experiencing those problems. So what happens when we get rid of this? Alright, so it has to do with yeah, destroying those clouds. No, it is not. Well, what is the issue? What happens when I delete this? So it still happens. The question is, what is happening? What is exactly happening? Like, what is happening? Why am I unable to move it? It does not make any sense. So let me pause the video at that point, and then I'm gonna be back when I found when I found out what the issue was. All right, so I'm now back, and I haven't really found a fix. So I've just reverted everything right here. But what I found out is that this issue is actually caused by the snakeman model. So there is an issue with the snakeman model. So if I try to attack one of those, this problem does not happen. As you can see, I'm able to move freely. It only happens when I use this attack on a snake man for whatever reason. So just not use this attack on this snake man right here, and you should be good to go. I'm still a little bit unsatisfied with the looks of this attack because, well, I barely use any particles, you know. So I think that I should start using them a little bit more. So here's this part. So let's put this particle limiter. Let me put this inside of the bolt. And I don't know. I'm not that kind of particle guy. So if you have any particles to tune up this attack, then go ahead, guys. I've just given you the blueprint for this attack, so it is up to you to enhance the looks of this attack right here. Because I'm not that particle type of guy, you know? The last thing which we're going to add is this damage dealer. So last enemy take damage. No, last enemy humanoid take damage. Math random. Let's just pick out some random numbers. There we go. Let's test this out for a final time. There we go. Alright guys, so that's it for today's video. Let me just quickly go through some of the parts. So I've added this idle loader variable right here to store this idle loader inside of this variable to be able to just play it down here. So when we destroy the bolt attack loader, so the bolt attack or animation, so when we stop it, then I want to play the idle again. That's the reason why I've set up that variable, and this variable right here is being overwritten down here with the idle loader, you know. So what happens right here is that we have set up a loop which loops at least one time, 1, 2, at least 2 times, so the amount of loops is actually randomized, so the range is from 2 to 4, so either 2, 3, or 4, and it creates a cloud each time, so clones out the cloud, makes it transparent, puts it inside of the workspace, and positions it above the player, also randomized, and with a random rotation. Then we have this tween, which makes the cloud appear, so visible, and then we have the spawn function, which runs in the background, and after 2 seconds, we have another tween, which makes the cloud invisible again and destroys the cloud down here. So after 1 second of this whole attack, we destroy the body position, which makes us able to float above, and then we create a new body position, which makes us fly towards the last enemy. And while we are flying, we are creating a part which is anchored, which is calculate faults, which is a ball, which is not cast shadows, which is yellow, which is neon, which has a certain size, and which is located where the last enemy is. And we have another tween. This tween makes this ball right here expand, and not only expand but also go invisible. So it expands 10 times of its current size and makes it invisible. And this is basically the yellow ball, which just looks like some kind of shockwave. Right here, we have we are dealing damage to the humanoid of the last enemy, and then after 0.5 seconds we are just getting rid of all of the body positions, the bolt. We are stopping the animation, this bolt attack animation. We are destroying the body gyro, and we are making the idle play again. That being said, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, share this video with all of your friends, leave me feedback in the comment section, guys. Take care and see you in the next video.